Alright, welcome back. I am here tonight to do a quick recap of the top, 24 from today's showcase challenge. Namely, it was 285 players, so I will be covering the decks that went 7-2 or better, starting with first place and working my way down to look at the standings. 24 is where the cutoff is for 21 points. All right. I have not looked at these lists ahead of time, just so I can, kind of evaluate the list in the moment. But the eventual winner was Cephalid Breakfast, which I personally think is the strongest Nadu deck because of how fast the kill is and how consistent the A plus B combo is. So, all right, looking at Zerk's first place list, I think they went, yeah, they went 8-1 as well. Nobody went 9-0. So you have a band style list, Dread Return, no Cabal Therapy, which has been kind of the stock now. One Surveil land. As far as I can tell, so the one Memories Dread is essentially the hedge against graveyard hate potentially. You can just put the Thassa's Oracle back on top, given that you have one green mana available. The one Spell Pierce is kind of interesting instead of more dazes. I guess make the list a little bit more flexible against combo. Sideboard, Cavern of Soul, Consigned Memory, Fair Macabre, 3 Force Negation. So really respecting combo. But overall, I don't think anything too crazy that stands out to me. I think like solid list overall. Oops, sorry. Baby might be waking up. Alright, anyways. Here we go. Achilles 27, second place list. Pretty stock reanimator list. Two entomb targets. 4 Stifle is interesting, which I guess is to be combo. That's the only thing I can think of. Probably steals a lot of wins too, to be honest. I'm kind of afraid of this, to be honest. Seeing the 4 Stifles to stop my endurance or bog triggers. Sideboard, 2 Null Rod, 2 Pest Control, just really respecting I guess these artifact decks and potentially Matador decks. So that's kind of scary too, given that they're on Esper list. I think this list is like pretty scary from a Cradle perspective. Orcus Billmaster, I don't think we care that much. We're kind of hoping that they board out personally the Entomb package. I don't know if they do or not, but something to think about. Alright, here 2 Murktide Regent as a fair game plan. Here they 2 Null Rod, by the way, really respecting the stock up painter list that's been floating around doing well lately. Here I would say more normal, quote unquote. More normal reanimator lists. 2 Go for the Throat just as hard removal, fatal push. Pretty fair sideboard, I would say. Not as many haymakers, I would say, as the second place list. Here's Michael Mapson's Bat Nadu list. I see that he played 3 cats, which is pretty interesting, alongside 1 Bristly Bill. I guess there's certain instances where he wants a tutor for it instead of having the full 4 cats. Interesting also is only 3 nomads on court, probably to hedge against Pithing Needle or just like the vulnerability of this card. Play more of a fair game plan. 3 Green Sun Zenith pains me to see. But Michael obviously did very well in his his tournament run. Ground Seal is pretty interesting. Obviously slower than Fair Macabre, but overall more flexible card. Get that this is a favorite of mine. I don't play it at the moment, but it's a card that like pops. I play every once in a while. All right. Fifth place list is Eldrazi. Grim Monolith becoming more and more stock in their lists. Waitscape Battle Mage is a kind of catch-all, a little bit expensive for my taste personally, but is a disenchant. Everything else is pretty normal, I think. I do like the 2 Once Upon a Time and the 3 Devour of Destiny. I'd probably play like as many of those kind of effects as I can. I think you just want to just have the most explosive starts all the time. Sprouts' lands list, pretty innovative for Yavimaya. 2 Disruptor Flute main just to hedging a combo, I guess. 1 Pit of the Needle, like really main board, like essentially having all your hate pre-boarded, which is I think good. I don't know if I would play all the targets that they're playing, but I think I do like all the targets main. Obviously, the new additions for anybody who hasn't been following Sprouts is the 4 Once Upon a Time and the 4 Malevolent Rumble. I'm a big fan of Once Upon a Time, and quite frankly, think it's long overdue. It should have been in lands probably a long time ago, to be honest. Sideboard, the Grafdigger's Cage to round out your Urza Saga package. Damping Spears for the wrap decks. Applies to Cradle too, I guess. Are they playing Tabernacle? Yeah, they are playing Tabernacle. To me, the weird one is the Twin Shot Sniper. I personally like. I get that you can find off Rumble and Once Upon a Time. I think, well, it's probably maybe 2 mana is not a big deal for them. And uncounterable too. 7th place list looks like Omnitel with 1 Intuition, and it is, wow, looks like it's mono blue. Okay, interesting. All right. And then here we have Brady with Bat Nadu as well. More of a traditional list instead of the cats. Nothing too crazy, I think. I do like that he's playing, mostly one-ofs in the sideboard. Makes it hard to predict what hate card could be in his hand. Reanimator here, pretty stock list as far as first blush. Mike Eureka 22422 playing Demir Tempo. Kind of surprised he didn't play a Dark Ritual deck, to be honest, but I think maybe he wanted an edge in the Underground Sea mirror match. Pretty stock list, to be honest. 11th place looks like another Reanimator list. Another pretty stock list. I would say the Engineering Explosives is something to look out for, I guess. One Snuff Out is pretty good against anything green, I guess, or any of these creature decks that are not black. But otherwise pretty stock. Here we have the Nadu Cradle list. I hesitate to call it Nadu Elves because really it's only like playing 5 Elves, so not that many. I do like that it's playing Once Upon a Time. I think it benefits the Nadu Cradle list from the downtick of Moonstompy, which is the natural predator for this kind of deck. And the sideboard here is kind of very targeted, right? Like 3 Deafening Silence, 4 Lay on the Void, just making sure that you beat specific combo decks. And then obviously, the Swords of Plowshares and the Force of Vigor to round things out. I'm not a fan of Hedge Mage personally. I think in this kind of deck, you don't really want tap lands, but they obviously did decently with it. Here, kind of like a Esper Vial type deck. Yeah. I don't think anything too crazy. Wrath of the Skies is, been stock in DNT for a minute now, so. Here, our first Moonstompy list. Wade B, Magus. I don't think anything that crazy. Two Flutes is interesting. Only two Fair Macabre, which, oh, actually, in addition to four Leyland Voice. So, really targeting Graveyard hate. Here, our first Delver deck, I think. I don't recall seeing Delver earlier, but looks like your Rug Delverless, green splashing for Questing Druid. Pretty stock list. I think if you don't want to play a combo deck but like tempo 8, this is probably up your alley. I'm not super convinced that the deck is well positioned though. Here we have Stoneblade, your standard deck that Balenciaga and Boba plays a lot. Sideboard is interesting, like 3 Fair Macabre, 2 Lavinia, pretty well rounded to be honest. Still rocking the Jace, 2 Teferi and 1 Narset. One Spell Pierce for the cheese, I guess, and then these one-ofs as difficult to play disenchantments. Enchantments. 17th place looks like Oops All Spells. I like that they're playing more discard, which I think is the better version. I'm not sure. I like Once Upon a Time as a card, but I get the argument against it, namely that you walk into Mindbreak Trap more often, but I do think it smooths out your hands. And then the sideboard is just a pivot. Off tangent, tomorrow is BNR, Banned and Restricted update. I really hope that they errata the the MBFC lands, because I do think this is a loophole, right? The fact that this deck gets to play lands, it doesn't sit right with me. Like Boggart Trawler is obviously a land in my opinion. 18th place we have another Omnitel list that looks like again mono blue. Um, 19th place, another Tempo Delver-ish blue Demir deck. And then pretty stock list. I guess the advantage of playing this kind of list is you're maybe advantaged in the mirror, the Underground Sea Mirror. 20th place, another Reanimator list, fairly stock. 21st place, True Futurism with their Cloud Post trademark deck. The new tech here is obviously Karn Silex. Only 3 1 rings, which is interesting. Maybe the 4th is in the sideboard. Yeah, it is as a Karn target. Another Reanimator list, nothing too crazy. 23rd, another Rug Delver list. 2 Ancient Grudge, which is interesting. I'm trying to think what it hits. I guess Chalice of the Void and maybe the Stock of Bliss of Painter. But that's kind of interesting. 2 Loam is interesting too. This is kind of a unique deck. Or unique list. 24, again, Demir Tempo with 4 stock ups. I'd be curious if the other Demir Tempo lists, I guess I can just Google or search for Tameo and see if they're playing stock up. Looks like no stock up in this list. No stock up in this list. They're playing Kaido, which I think is probably better. Affects the board. No stock up, and then this list is playing stock up. All right, that concludes my wrap up of the showcase 7-2 or better decks. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and once again, if you enjoy my content, here's my what's it called? Here is my link tree. So Linktree /Newton Hang. So you can find the podcast, the YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and so forth. All right. Thank you for tuning in.